Good morning, everyone. This is Financial Literacy 101. And I just have a basic question that I would like to ask you, ladies and gentlemen, is that do you have a fiance or a fiancé? Okay. And what that simply means is that you're in a relationship, you're in a marriage, you're engaged to be married, and you're trying to figure out whether to be male or female. If your partner is a fiance, someone who loves you, someone who cares for you, someone who cherishes you, someone who's going to be with you for the rest of your life. And again, this means that you're in a committed relationship, that you're engaged to be married, or that you're married. Okay, we're going to use this synonymous with all terms. Okay, so that's what we're looking at here. And you need to find out if you have a fiance or a fiancé. And the fiancé, and we can talk about the system of debt, and we're going to break down the fiat system. But is there just basically with you because of your money, because of the resources, because of the opportunities that you can create for them? And that is the common thing, because we understand that there's a new crave going around that's been around for essentially generations, that smart women marry for money. Smart women, marry for money. I mean, let me preface this by stating that I'm not suggesting that women marry solely for money. I am, after all, a believer in love and commitment as a solid foundation for marriage. I truly am. However, I am suggesting that women who marry partners that are financially savvy, motivated by money, have aligned views about their attitudes to money, are indeed smarter than their counterparts, other women who don't marry for money. Motivated by money, have aligned views about their attitudes to money, are indeed smarter than their counterparts who don't when choosing a life partner. Now, see, I would try to be in detail that the benefits of choosing a partner that has a solid financial plan in place and uses money as a tool and not as a crutch. And that's where we kind of get in trouble. And that's how we really break down, because women who choose financially savvy partners fare better than their counterparts who don't. Now, these women know that in order to have a marriage built to last, that fiancés play a huge role in the viability of their marriage. I know it sounds like we're discussing a corporate merger or a business deal or some sort of contract, but bear with me. After all, marriage in some respect is like a business, and you heard this time and time again. It's like running a corporation, a somewhat of a business venture. You have to go into knowing that it could fail or can essentially succeed beyond your wildest dreams and make you rich. Now, if the employees don't share the same vision, believe in the vision, and work together, the endeavor will fail. Some businesses will get rich, some will barely make ends meet, some will never make a dime. The money does not measure success. The sense of accomplishment will come from the daily struggle, the love of what you do, working together in, day out. Now, the reality is that the personal finance issues are a leading cause of divorce. And in order to live happily ever after, you must be on the same page as far as your fiance or your potentially love, the other person that you love, that you guys have the same goals in mind. Now, when we talk about these particular things, ladies and gentlemen, that first and foremost, if you guys are not like-minded in your financial goals and the ways you want to go about your financial future, you guys are utterly going to fail. See, some people like to believe that the reason why most people break up, whether it be committed relationships, engagements, and marriages, is because of infidelity. If you do the research, ladies and gentlemen, the number one reason for people parting ways is finances. Now, infidelity can essentially contribute and add to the department of a relationship in some regards, but most people break up because of the lack of resources and money. And especially women, like, you're going to cheat on me and you broke. So essentially, it's like, I'm not staying around for both of these. Now, if you was a committed man, loving man, caring man, nurturing man, right, and you were broke, believe it or not, there's some women who would definitely stay around because of the treatment that you give them with the lack of resources and money that you have. But anytime you pile the two on together, 9 times out of 10, that woman is not staying around. See, when smart women meet a partner, they aren't wooed by good looks and the smooth talk, because they are conscious and intelligent about what they want in life and how to go about getting it. These women are looking at how their potential partners spend money. Does he have an emergency fund? Ding, ding, ding. I've been preaching and teaching and nailing this in to you guys, ladies and gentlemen alike, for years now, since this channel has started. Other question is he current on their monthly bills, such as the car payment, the mortgage, the rent? Does he spend more than he earns? Does he put money aside in his savings account? They're listening keenly to understand how the potential mates relate to money. Is it a tool? Is it a crutch? See, they know the difference and conduct business accordingly. Should the potential mate, the potential partner, fall into the category of the above mentioned, then it's time to say goodbye after all. Who wants a man who isn't interested in learning how to manage his money effectively? No woman wants a man who's just going to be a splurger, who's going to, I mean, in some regards, women are the ones who like to window shop and splurge. Men, we have to be reserved when it comes to money. We have to think about the overall picture, the survival of the family. We have to be more intelligent when it comes to being financially savvy. And I'm not saying women are a weaker sex when it comes to impulse buying or window shopping, but we know how some women are. But men are just alike in some regards, but we have to change the narrative and perspective of how we go about things, because believe it or not, men, women are looking for a leader and they're looking to you, but she can't be the leader of a man. Now, if she is the leader of a man, then you're a beta male, and that's fine. If that's the type of relationship you want, then that's fine. Because smart women are up to date on the latest issues in personal finance. I know my fiance, she essentially is beginning to open up a beauty salon. And the only thing I ask is say, hey, babe, did you run the numbers? Do you have a price list? Did you do this? Did you do that? Because essentially, I want to make sure as a family we're making the right decision. But if she needs my help, I'm there. If she doesn't, I'm standing by. But again, even in a relationship, a marriage, a committed relationship, an engagement, and you guys are in business together, you guys are joining your forces financially together, you need to understand the different goals. Are you willing and eager to support that person? See, I know that some women, they understand the rate chasing, investing in the long haul, and understand that while they may have substantial savings, practice and embrace frugality, okay, they're really being frugal with their money. They look for similar, if not the same, qualities in their potential mate. If they see you out there splurging, you wearing your Gucci boots and your Balenciagos and your Fendi, and you're a guy and you're just spending all your money away. And the one question she may ask for you, well, do you have any debt? Do you have an emergency fund? Are you investing of any of your money? And if you say, well, no, no, and no, then why are you buying all the expensive clothing? Why are you buying all these expensive gadgets? Why are you driving the most latest and expensive cars and you don't have nothing in the bank? Because what occurs when you get older? Most people stop working or unable to work, especially at the same rate they were when they were young and healthy. See, smart women want to be able to relate not only on a romantic level, but also in issues regarding what? Personal finance. Now, let me take a moment here and get things into perspective so we all understand the premise of this conversation. Good morning, Miss Curly Girl. Good morning, Shina. Good morning, Learning Every Day. And also good morning, Prime X. I am glad to see you, ladies and gentlemen, here with me this morning. I do appreciate your time. So let's think about this for a moment. Who wants a man with no financial plan in place? I mean, most women absolutely don't. Where does he see himself in 2 years, 5 years, 10 years? Is he thinking long or short term? The answer will determine the course of the relationship. Ideally, he should be able to think past next month car payment and project how much he will have in his savings account by year's end. This is an expectation for smart women, not a hope, not a dream, but something they demand and require in a potential mate. And this is the reason why I believe a lot in the Black community, why a lot of us are not having substantial relationships, why we're not making solid gold bonds, or we're not linking up, because we're not thinking that, oh, I remember a lady told me that, Black people, we don't plan our babies. We have love children. I'm like, what? We have love child. I'm like, and this is my perspective, meaning that we're not consciously thinking about the ramifications of having a child out of wedlock. We're not thinking about the ramifications of just sleeping with somebody without having a plan that this potential sexual encounter could birth life, and that we're going to have to take care of this life for the next 18 years. These are the things we have to think about, men and women alike, because this is what occurs out of relationships. Now, and I want you to take a few moments here to let it all sink in. See, gone are the days when gold diggers were secretly essentially invade because they were able to go for the gusto and stifle high-pitched screams during musty sex with a shrivel-up old tycoon. See, that's what gold diggers actually go for. They're not in the hood looking for the dude with the best car, the best swag. And they know most of them are drug dealers, and their lifespan is actually short. So where do they go? They go downtown, they go uptown, wherever the expensive restaurants are, the expensive shops, and they're looking for the man with the suit, or he has on really well dressed, and they know all the name brands. They know all the smells of different colognes. They know all the watches. They know all the jewelry and how a particular person wears it. And they're looking at their mark. And they're just flaunting to themselves in order to be noticed, to be talked to. See, gold diggers actually come in men and women alike. Now, from my point of view, from what I've seen, yes, the term gold digger is most related to a woman. But there are some gold digger men who are actually looking for women who have a lot of money. I call them beta males. They're definitely not an alpha male. If you're looking for a female to take care of you as a male, then you're definitely a beta. That means that you want to be ruled, you want to be dominated, you want to be controlled. That is just my perspective. See, we need to move over and make way for women who are in control of their financial destinies and not afraid to say it. They are armed with a positive net worth and not afraid to flaunt it. That's very attractive to most men, believe it or not. See, it's not a matter of a woman saying, I don't need no man. It's not about that. It's that a woman has her things in order and she wants a man. And not only does she want a man, she wants to love a man, but she also wants a man who are financially savvy. She don't want to have a man that she have to take care of. She's like, hey, let's join forces. You have the money, I have the credit. You have the credit, I have the money. We both have the money and credit, or we don't have it, and we can build it together. And those are the things that we need to be looking for. I mean, there's many economists have long argued that marriage rates are lower in poor and less well-educated areas because men in those communities aren't good financial bets. Now, we could talk about systemic racism. We could talk about discriminations. We can talk about stereotypical things that prevent men in certain communities from getting careers and jobs. But at the same time, there still have been opportunities. There still have been chances for those men and us men to do well, to at least be common. But I understand without steady incomes that those men can't reliably contribute to a household. So while women and children may be with them, they won't commit to that man's lifestyle. Well, that's kind of been my assumption anyway, when we really think about it. And when you start looking at research studies, I mean, think about it. In more conservative parts of the country, like the Appalachians or the Colorado mountains, infusions of steady jobs for men in the 70s and 80s led to more marriages and then more children born in wedlock. And this is coming from essentially a report I read the other day in the Washington Post. And through this time of fracking-related wealth produced a localized baby boom, there wasn't a corresponding boom in marriages, meaning that during the baby boom generation, there was a lot of industrial jobs, a lot of mining jobs, a lot of construction jobs, a lot of carpentry jobs, which essentially men was making a way for themselves and could get women who were being waited to be courted with their parents, or who maybe was the secretary of their job, who didn't really have a significant or, let's say, important jobs to themselves. Like they wanted work, they wanted a family, they wanted to be a stay-at-home mom, they wanted to do these things and actually have a family instead of working. And that's kind of the sense of women being financially savvy. Like, hey, listen, you can go to work, you make substantial amount of money, I can stay home and I can do these things. I am comfortable with those things. And I'm not trying to say women handicap yourself, limit yourself, because I know there's a lot of women who want to do a lot of things in life. Like, take, for instance, my best example is my fiance. I can speak on this on a very personal matter. She is currently in school. She's currently in a real estate course. She's looking to open up her beauty salon in the next 2 months. And she hit me with this today. And she wants to, she's a certified, she's a nurse. So she's also certified in teaching people CPR. So she wants to go out and buy this $500 CPR machine and then kind of be a mobile CPR where she goes to people and teach them. Okay. So I'm like, hey, babe, this is great. We have a lot of things going on and she wants to do all these things and I'm in support of that. My whole thing is like, let's just look at how much we have going on in the time frame and make sure we do things accordingly. That's it. I think we should push those people, especially if they want your help, your support. And sometimes they just want a resounding board of you encouraging them and say, hey, yeah, let's go get it. But just think about these things along the way, but never discourage the dreams and the aspirations that these people have. Because these people you love, men and women alike. Now, the decline in relationships and marriages rates in the working class has been going on for long enough. I mean, ever since what? I think the Washington Post segment had since 2012. No, I think that was the New York Times. But it says marriage is for rich people. That's what it said. Marriage is for rich people. It includes rich men are marrying rich women, creating double rich households for them and their children. And the poor are staying poor alone. 40% of all babies now are born to single moms or to unmarried partners. There was a time where rich men was essentially marrying poor women. And believe it or not, rich women was marrying poor men. And in my aspects, and I'm going to go off on a tangent here and say, I think it's a matter of influence and or control. Think about that. Essentially, the person who's making the most money has the last decision of how the household is being ran. Unless, and I know some old baby boomers, they didn't care about what occurred in the household. The only thing they cared was my clothes are clean, food is on the table, especially when it came to men. I don't care how you run a household. I don't care how you discipline the kids. Like, I need to come home. I need to beat, Daryl's butt tonight. Okay, cool. Is the steak and fries ready for me to eat? Very simple things. But now the narrative, the paradigm has shifted that poor people are marrying poor people and rich people are marrying rich people. These are some of the stories. These are some of the reports that are coming out. And think about it like this. 40% of all babies are born to single moms. or to unmarried partners. And this is not just in the Black community. This is in all communities. And I'm pretty sure this is most roughly reports out of the white and Black communities. That can be rough for families for numerous reasons. See, pooling, when you pull together and pool together your resources, there's many aspects of life that become easier, from affording a home to being involved at school, coupling up against people to stay healthy and live longer together. Now, take for instance, again, I like to point out to my relationship that last year, me and my fiance went to Mexico. That was the first time essentially out of the country next to Canada. And we really didn't count Canada because the part of Canada we went in was Vancouver. It was like being in Asia, but nonetheless, it was kind of eerie feeling, but we'll get off of that. But we went to Mexico. We had a great time. And so in the next 2 weeks here, we're going to Jamaica, man. We're going to Jamaica. We're going to Montego Bay, Jamaica. And I believe the resort we're staying at is Royal White Sands or something of that nature. And then later on this year, me, her, and our son are going on vacation. I think we're going to the Dominican Republic. So think about it if it was only one income. I would have to be making, in order to afford where we live, and the amount of finances that we're spewing out on utilities, gas bills, car insurance, house insurance, warranties, all the things that we have essentially in our home and also in our bank accounts, and to contribute to emergency fund and future adventures. Because right now we're even saving to go to Africa next year. We're planning on going to Ghana in March, April timeframe of next year. Okay. But we are planning going on next year. That's kind of the time frame. But bar none, I think we're at least going to go by June of next year. But we're still shooting for March, April timeframe. How will we be able to do this? Because we're both thinking on a financial level, financially savvy. Like, okay, how are we going to maneuver our finances in such a way? One, how do our finances contribute to us growing more finances, meaning more money? That's number one. Then what do we do with the resources? What do we do with those, not essentially additional funds, but those extra funds that we're going to allocate to different funds in order to do the things that we want to do? How we're going to grow different business ventures and also travel, because these are the things that we want to do with our lives. Now, I want you to think about this. Husbands who are non-working, non-involved, they are essentially useless. Those are the guys that sit on the couch. Those are guys who are probably in horrible relationships and marriages and don't really have a commitment from their other partner. They're being ran. They're being ran either financially and or emotionally or both. And I'm not saying these men aren't men, but they're beta males. And I think that some beta males have to know that they are being controlled, have to know that they're being ran. See, we need to have somewhat of a general economic and cultural freedom in our relationships. See, men and women no longer are willing to settle. See, it's the narrative always that I'm a woman, I'm not settling. A lot of times, ladies, it's about what your worth really is. And I'm not going to get into the whole Kevin Samuels piece of a high value man and a high value woman, and this person needs this and that person needs that. No, but sometimes men and women are looking at themselves like they're the best thing since sliced bread. And we know that's not true. You can't tell me a man of my stature that have been working since the age of 8. Yes, I've been working since the age of 8, raking leaves, shoveling snow, doing all the small jobs to keep money in my pocket. That if somebody comes up to me or I'm going to talk to them and they're overweight and they're not taking care of themselves and they're going to be a burden to my bottom line. And your bottom line is the amount of money that you have. If you're going to be a burden to my bottom line, then guess what? And I'm just being real, ladies. It's not about hurting anyone. It's about the realization how a lot of men actually think. I've been working off my butt. and you think I'm going to put up with your attitude? See, you're not a fiance, you are a fiancé. And the system of fiat is a system of debts. Why would I want that? Why would I want that? And then men alike. Why would a woman want to take care of a man who is not willing to do for himself? Whether he's abusive or not, why would she want to deal with that mess? So first and foremost, let's do something very quickly, family, because I really want you to understand the title of this video. Fiancé, meaning you're committed, you're in a committed relationship, you're engaged to be married, or you're married, or fiancé. And I think I really need to break down what that is. So let's do this first and foremost. I'm going to share my screen with you guys. Give me 1 second. Here we go. Just going to blow this up so we can read this together because I think it's very important. A fiancé. Now, I made up the term fiancé, but I will say here's the fiat system. A fiat system is based on a government's mandate that the paper currency it prints is legal tender for a financial transaction. Legal tender means that the money is backed by the full faith and credit of the government that issues. In other words, the government promises to be good for it. So a fiancé is a person who is just taking you on your credit, taking you on your money. She is willing to spend every last dime that you have. But the point is, what type of fiancé do you have? Do she comes in and smiles and gives you everything you want and have you to do anything you need? But all the while, she just wants your money. Now, when it comes to men, ladies, do you have a fiancé? And see, when it comes to men, let me be real, we can be very, very lazy. If we don't have a career, we don't have a job, we're not starting a business, we're not innovating, we're not inventing, we can be very, very lazy, and we can depend on women to essentially bring home the bacon and pay all the bills. And the only thing you are is a burden to your other mate. The only thing you are is a hindrance to your partner. That's all you are. Good morning, Lakeisha C. Thank you for joining me this morning. I do appreciate that. Ladies and gentlemen, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. It brings people into the conversation. And I want to go out on a whim here, and I want to say, those who believe that they have a fiancé or had a fiancé, I would absolutely love for you to join me this morning and kind of just give us a tale of how you learned that your significant other was a fiancé. And a fiancé is someone that you was in a relationship with or engaged to or married to that depended on you for everything financially without putting in any work for themselves. There's a link in the chat room, ladies and gentlemen, that you can click with or without your video. And I want to hear the tale of your story of your fiancé, someone who depended on you for every single dime and did nothing for themselves in return, men and women alike. See, this is a discussion that kind of goes against the grain of what the current conversations that are being viral about this whole high value man. But in this day and age, there's not too many men there is making over six figures. Believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen, especially in the Black community, most men are making anywhere from $45,000 to $50,000. That's it. So all of these men like, oh, I just want a guy who makes 80 grand. Oh, I just want to make a guy that makes 100 grand. Here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen, if he makes 50,000 and you make 50,000, then together you guys make 100,000. The question is, are you a fiancé or fiancé? Are you in a relationship for the other person's money, or do you want to join forces and be a force to be reckoned with? So the question here right now is, have you ever been in a relationship, or are you in a relationship that you believe that your significant other is a fiancé, a person who depends on you financially for everything, male and female alike? And if so, click the link in the chat and please tell us your story. Please tell us your accounts of this particular situation. Because especially in the Black community, we need to understand our current conditions. We have some people, men and women, who are essentially living in a fairy tale thinking that they all want these so-called high-value men that simply do not exist. They simply do not exist. I want you to look in your current neighborhood. I want you to look in your current community. And I want you to tell me, men and women alike, who do you see who are high value? And I'm going to make this very simple. I'm not going to go on the tangent of the Kevin Samuels definition of high value. I'm just going to say for this particular term, high value is someone who's making over $100,000 or more. How many people do you know making over $100,000 or more? Now, granted, you may know a lot because you're in the world of business, but I'm talking about on a personal relationship level. Can someone attest? Can someone please mention that? Now, and again, there's a link in the description that I would love for someone to join me here in order to have this discussion about previous relationship or current relationship. Please click the link in the chat so we can have this discussion. I know there's somebody out there who, again, the other person in your relationship depended on you for your resources, for your financial stability, and in layman terms, for your money. This is a current problem in our communities that we're not coming to a realization that we have been undermined and discriminated upon in business, in entrepreneurship, in the working class, in every facet. And so we have these men and women who are looking for these unattainable men and women who are making over $110,000, $120,000 a year. But we are afraid to join forces with our fiance. And the issue is men. The issue is men. We tend to look for women of low value so we can deem ourselves high value. But men, when you do this, when you join forces with a low value women, you get low value results. You get low value results. See, I love a woman who has goals, aspirations in life, and all the while still is fit, friendly, and feminine, and knows how to take care of a man. I like it all. Are those women hard to find? 1,000%. 1,000%. It took me 40 years to meet my fiance. And I've been up and down in relationships and marriages. It took me 40 years. Some people lucked up, it took them 20 years. Some people lucked up, it took them 30 years. Some people are still unlucky and looking for that significant other. And that question simply is, do you have a fiancé or fiancée? That is a hard question for most people. That is the question for most people. Who am I involved with? Who is the person I'm laying to every day? Are they in for my good or for my bad? Because we need to understand, like in the US, Americans have acquired almost $921 billion in debt. Think about that. When we go to that debt calculator that I always show you that look kind of crazy, let me see if I can pop that up. Because I think it's imperative that we understand the overall, how finances play a major role in your finances, in your relationship. They play a major role in your relationships and then also your finances. Let's look at this debt calculator very quickly. Let me make sure I'm sharing my screen with you guys, because this debt calculator is already at $28 trillion. Okay, it's already at $28 trillion. And we're going to look at the personal part of the income of people, right? When we're looking at debt, it says debt per taxpayer is $223,000. Debt per citizen is $84,000. So when you really think about that, ladies and gentlemen, that's an estimated roughly 921 billion in debt belonging to a current or ex-partner, and those are assuming responsibility over a significant other's debt took on around $24,000. So when you get in a relationship and you guys join forces, you have to make sure that person's financially savvy. You have to at least make sure that person have a goal. They have avenue of approach, how they're going to attack their debt and their finances, and how you guys are going to move financially through this space. Learning Every Day says, I know only 2 men making $100,000 a year. And believe me, brother, that's more than most people, especially in the communities that a lot of us live in. Now, that particular number is a comparison platform, and we need to understand to determine the approximate amount of debt that a lot of Americans have acquired, especially from their other partner. Over 2,000 adults ages from 18 to 91 took this survey about how much debt they're taking over from a past or current partner. See, women are more likely than men. Listen to this. Listen to this. Women are more likely than men to take on their partner's debt. This is what this survey actually revealed. 53% of women reported having done so versus 47% of men. And you know what this means? That a lot of women have been co-signing loans for men. That's what I get from this. A lot of women have been co-signing loans for men. The man, like, I want to start a business. Oh, I need this loan to start this business. I actually need you to co-sign this loan. And women will do it because women love that man. They see that he's driven. He has aspirations, goals. He's disciplined. Then, in other words, women don't see none of that, and they still co-sign the loan based upon love, based upon the possibility that he may turn it all around. But women take on more debt than men. And I know this is not very popular, around men, but men are the ones who are mainly dealing in business. There's a lot of business women, but there's a lot of men, more so men, that are in business than women. And we have to understand the percentage of men to women. Okay, there's 2 billion women more than men. I said that kind of incorrectly, but on the earth, there's 2 billion women more so than men. Think about that. And roughly, I think the earth is populated around 8 billion people. So just think, purely 2 billion of them are women. Now, and again, 53% of women reported having done so versus the 47% of men. But however, the amount of debt assumed by men when covering for their partner financially is roughly 50% higher on average than the amount taken on by women. But on average, men take on around $32,000 as a result of a romantic relationship, while women just acquire around $16,000. Men and women differ in the types of debt they're mostly likely to take on their significant other. Women more commonly assume a partner's debt if it results of a divorce settlement, the death of a partner, or purchase made in their name, such as co-signing a loan or sharing a credit card. Men, on the other hand, are more likely to shoulder their partner's debt if it results from purchases made via joint bank accounts, gambling problems, or debt assumed through marriage. These are all the issues that occur in these relationships with your fiance or your fiancé. And when I was talking about the credit card, I looked at my fiance and she smiled. That's because every credit card I get, I make sure she has a copy of it. And she don't even use. I said, babe, use this card so we can accumulate miles to go to Africa next year. So that's the things we're working on today. And I also do videos about how you should essentially use your credit cards as a tool and reward in order to get the things you want. Take, for instance, I just came back from Brazil on Friday. I just came back from Brazil on a 2-week vacation. Me and another buddy, supposed to be 4 of us, but the other 2 couldn't make it. But we flew first class, and I flew on my Sky Miles with Delta. So I think I paid $1,000 for the ticket. That was round trip. And then I used my miles, which upgraded me to Delta One. And when you're taking essentially a 12-hour flight, believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen, beer, wine, and hard spritz at your every command, all inclusive. Then the seat that you actually have turns into a bed. It actually rotates to a recliner, then rotates and essentially transforms into a bed that you can lay flat in. Wouldn't you love that instead of simply sitting in coach or economy plus? Most of us want to sit in business class or first class. So this is why I kind of give this financial information, whether it be in your relationship, dealing with your finance, or even your credit cards. This is very imperative to your bottom line. Who wants to continue through life broke, unhappy, depressed, sad, with so much built up anxiety? Who wants that? No one does. Everybody wants to live the good life. But I can tell you, ladies, gentlemen, if you want to live the good life, then the one thing that you have to have on your side is a good woman or a good man with some of the same financial goals and be financially savvy, just as you think that you are. If you do not have that, then you simply have a fiance.